welcome you to Orana, and I do want to take 10 seconds of my speech to say it is an absolute pleasure to have you here. And it struck me sitting there, changing my introductory precious 30 seconds by saying you really are a poster child, I suppose, for education, and that you are so grounded, and yet so much of your work that you personally have done is things that the human being can't imagine. And I'm absolutely delighted that you talk so much about the human being, because what I hope to be able to bring to you through my precious 5 minutes is this whole question of education. So you hear it said we are educating children for a world we don't even know what it's going to look like. Well, the one thing we know with reasonable certainty is that the human being is going to be born, if not the same way, certainly with the same capacities. So by that I mean a human baby is born with already the human condition of curiosity, risk-taking. You look at a toddler, the world's biggest risk-taker is a toddler. They will put their little hands out and they will leap into the unknown, and they will fall down and they will get up and they'll do it again. And they will fall and hit their head on the table and they have a little bit of a cry, but they'll get up and they will do it again. And they put things in their mouths and they do all kinds of wondrous, amazing things. They were born with innovation, they're born with initiative, they're born with striving, and more importantly, they're born with work ethic. So what is it that we're doing that we now have cutting and self-harm and depression and suicide in our young people at epidemic proportions? So I put it to you that actually it's going to take us some bravery. We have to draw a line in the sand and say something is not working and that we're in crisis, really. The good news is Australia, I would say, is placed to be a world leader if we are brave enough to make some decisions about what our education is going to look like for our children. We have to stop and we have to have a good think about what we've been doing has not been working, so let's not keep on doing the same thing. And it starts, I believe, first with the teachers. I managed to make it work. I'm somewhat of a Luddite and I'm still learning. So the classroom, the 2020 classroom, what's it going to look like? And Professor Schmidt talked about the human being. Those babies do their best striving when they're surrounded by loving adults, when they're surrounded by the human being. We know the research that shows us that babies born in orphanages that are left lying in the cot don't progress. But that little baby who's got that encouraging sound of the human being voice, the sound of that mum and dad encouraging, that's what keeps them going. And so whatever we do, whatever decisions we make, we have to keep remembering that the role of that class teacher is vital for every human being. And the role of the teacher will change, and it has to change. But what should never change is the respect for the professionalism and for their deep knowledge. So my first challenge to you is to help us put teachers back in classrooms. At the moment, teachers are only allowed, within all the laws and all the agreements, to be in classroom for 20 hours a week, which means the rest of their 20, 30, 40 hours they're doing paperwork to prove what they're doing for the other 20 hours. So that's my first challenge to us all, is please, let's go back and have a look at what are we asking them to do. Let's get them analysing children instead of sitting and analysing data that very often has very little to do with learning. So I just had to have a plug there and make sure, especially with you here and the opportunity you have to speak up for making sure that our teachers, right through universities as well, can do what we invest so much in doing. So I'll get off my soapbox now. But we're at a Steiner school, we value the role of our teachers. We see them as co-parents and that they're not responsible for parenting. It would be wonderful if we could send parenting back to parents and allow our teachers to do the teaching. But they work together, and so this role of the teacher is really vital in everything we do. So here we have this little human being that's delivered to us with all this curiosity and all this capability. I'm going to whiz through my slides. Let's capture it. Let's keep them playing outside, doing things. Let's not sanitize the childhood experience. Let's make sure they get to do things and build a culture of doing and working. We need work ethics, so let's make sure that they get those experiences. Build their imagination. Let them come up with their own ideas and be experimenting and trying new things and be allowed to fail. Technology is an enabler, it's not a doer. It enables them to be thinking, it enables them, and at the right age, and we believe, particularly in a high school, we look around you, we offer them the highest level of technology available because they've done all the experimenting and playing outside and doing all these wondrous things. Because the education in our school is the global bridge. It's what will get us through if we can make sure that they have an education where they're actually doing things, making things, and using technology in a truly innovative way. So I do thank you very much for listening.